What's going on, everyone? I'm Chris Baker.
And I'm Ty Backer.
Welcome to episode 179 of Behind the ToolBelt with TC Backer Construction.
TC Backer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutter, solar. TC Backer.
Behind the Tool Belt is sponsored by Lead Scout. Find out more at leadscoutapp.com.
I just think our salespeople are being a little bit of, well, lead babies.
Yeah, we don't say lead babies. It's okay for people to specialize in selling instead of canvassing and lead gen for themselves. We call them roofing sales professionals.
Surprisingly, sales are way up as we've built heavier duty lead gen systems and let our salespeople be roofing sales professionals.
Better leads. TC Backer.
Boom, TC Backer family. Welcome. It is Wednesday. It is episode 179. It is beautiful in central Pennsylvania. We got a banger. I've been looking forward to this episode for quite some time here. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. But before we jump into it, everyone wish my man behind the scenes here happy birthday, Mr. Victor Yori, production.
Hey.
Crew, whatever you want to call him. Amongst many other hats that he wears, man. Happy birthday, bro. I hope you had a great day. I didn't really get to see you very much, but I appreciate everything that you do, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Whether he knows it or not, he's now my personal assistant as well.
There you go. I know you've been looking for one of them.
Yeah,
so.
I think I've nominated Vic, the committee upstairs here. We had a little meeting and got together and decided that you're going to be my personal assistant once we move. Okay. Anyhow, happy birthday, my friend, my brother. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got some very, very special guests today, man. We got a lot of stuff to cover. It's going to be a great episode. We have the man, the myth, the legends,
both
Paul Reed, Eric O from Roofers in Recovery, amongst other things, but that's probably the main thing that we're going to talk about here today. Get into what exactly that is, what we're doing on Friday, what a lot of people are doing on Friday, and everything that you guys do for the roofing community and for individuals in the roofing community. How are you guys today, man?
Man, I'm good. Lovely day out in Denver. Drought's over as far as hailstorms, so life is good again to be a residential and commercial roofer in Denver. Can't complain.
No doubt. How long's it been for you to
5
be in
years.
residential? 5 years?
Oh, shit. Well, no, we kind of got out of residential the last few years and focused mainly on, commercial and commercial retail. But this is actually my 31st year in roofing. So I'm now the old man in roofing.
That's awesome.
Is
it like riding?
I still don't know what hail looks like anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, we actually got to experience some down at our Greenville location. They got, I think, within 24 hours of opening the doors down there, we got 2-inch hail. So thank you, baby Jesus. Yeah,
can't write a better script.
Yeah, I meant to do that, by the way.
It's planned.
Yeah.
That's that premium version of hail trace that you get, man. They tell you when it's going to hail in the future.
Yeah, it's called intuition.
Is that the one? How do we upgrade to that?
You have to be invited, bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's an
fuck. Okay. All right. Invite only. Got it. All right.
Yeah. Right on. So how the hell you doing, Eric?
I'm good, man. I could complain, but nobody give a shit. Like, things are great. I got Houston up and rolling. You know, we've got some great staff that we just brought on down here. So roofing's doing great. You know, Roofers in Recovery Day on Friday. Super excited about that. I got, you know, life's good. I got Lexi down here. So we're filming. Y'all know Lexi, and got to spend some time with her. She came down staying at the house, and we did some interviews today, and had the infamous Steve Badger in studio today. So that was fun as well. Had a candid conversation with our new friend Steve. So that'll be fun when that drops as well.
Yeah, I bet that is.
Yeah. That's going to be a good one. I saw you had Jenna down there. That's going to be a good one. And who else?
Erica was great. Erica was great.
Yeah, Erica was.
Yeah, Erica was great because we got into like some shit that I've never even known about. Like, she spent an hour talking about postpartum depression. And like some wild ass shit that like she went through when she had her kid that like a lot of people don't know about. And you know, we've all heard about it, but I don't know. I'm a dude, right? Like, I don't really know what the fuck it is. But like she got deep into it and like told her story and was hoping that she connects with the 30% of my audience is female. So
yeah.
so we'll see how that tracks. But it was exciting. It was good to do that. And then we interviewed Steven Martinez for his conferences coming up down here, that American Dream Conference. So it's been a busy few days. So like this was perfect time. We got this for an hour, and then Lexi's here for one more night. We're going to get in a photo shoot with Tegan for her 8th birthday, and then she leaves tomorrow. So it's been all day, and things are good. And I'm excited that I was able to be here and be part of this today.
Nice. Yeah,
awesome,
for sure. I'm glad you both could make it because I know to get both of your schedules to line up and get on here, because I think we've battled this before where it was one or both or none of you at times, and we're all busy and stuff. But I guess our viewers are really chiming in because they want to know, and I know we've heard this story probably 100 times of, you know, how did Roofers in Recovery get started? If you guys don't mind repeating this story, but I love it. It's probably it is my favorite stories of all time. If you guys
go for it, Eric.
You want me to start it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the way that I remember it, I feel like Paul and I remember things differently because we're both old. But the way that I remember, yeah, a little bit. So, but obviously, so Paul and I met some years ago at a conference, and we figured out that we were both sober, and we kind of connected on that and became friends. And maybe a year and a half later, I'll never forget, I was driving down the road and I was going to some kind of an appointment, and Paul called me and was like, "Hey, we should do more. We should figure out how we're going to give back." And I was like, "That's a great idea. What does that mean?" And he's like, I don't know. Like, let's send somebody to treatment, because that's what saved our lives, was going to treatment. I'm like, that's a great idea. How do we do that? And it was, fuck, I don't know. Let's throw some money into a pot, and then when somebody calls, we'll send them to treatment. I was like, great, I'll write a check. He's like, great, I'll write a check too. So we literally wrote a couple checks, put it into an account. Somebody called pretty damn quick, if I remember right, Paul. Yeah. And we sent them to treatment. And we thought that was kind of going to be the end of it. And we'd send a person a year to treatment and help them out and, you know, talk to them and whatever. And all of a sudden the phone kind of started ringing off the hook with people that wanted help and wanted a community and wanted that. And then it kind of turned into this whole other thing where we're having meetings at conferences, and we have meetings every, 2 days a week on Zoom. And, we had our first official meeting, if I remember right, at the original Storm. So you can talk about that, Paul.
Yeah, no, that is the whole basis of it. And I'll also say that I think what really helped kick it off too was, remember right when COVID started and literally everybody was shut down, like no one's really going to work or limited, and there's no AA meetings at all. And, so that we had the idea of like, hey, let's do a Zoom call. I think, well, for me, I just discovered Zoom. I don't know how long Zoom has ever been around, but I discovered it when COVID happened, right? That was the first time. I was like, what do you mean you could have this video chatting conferences and all kinds of people come on? So we started that Zoom, and, we had a lot of people showing up, all across the country. And so started the private Facebook group. And, it's just really kind of grown, and we've been able to help a lot of people, and also us. Let's not kid ourselves. I think, hell, I've probably benefited and gained more out of Roofers Recovery than anybody, just because it definitely plugged me back in, in the industry that I love. And, being in service, that's really where, at the end of the day, I think probably all of us on this call get our most enjoyment and, pride and satisfaction out of, is being in true service of helping our fellow men. And that's the basis of Roofers in Recovery.
And one other thing that I wanted to mention was, Ty, you and I were talking a little bit the other day, and it kind of brought me back to that moment, Paul, when you and I kind of met and started talking about this. And it was interesting because both of us had some time, right, in sobriety, but we both had kind of, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for you, but like let our program slip a little bit.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to meetings, and we weren't doing the things that got us sober. We weren't doing the things that were going to keep us to have the ability to have long-term sobriety. And I think that for me personally, at least, being able to dive into something like this was my way of being of service, right? Because I didn't really know how to do that anymore, because I wasn't doing the things that got me there. And so that was, I think, another catalyst that really kind of blew this up. And correct me if I'm wrong for you, but that was definitely 100% for me.
Oh, absolutely, man. It put us both back into step work and, all of those things. And, I think we've always, helped other people and did different things, but that true service part has really came from Roofers in Recovery. And you see it kind of a lot of other people grabbing that as well. And it's been a pretty big movement, man.
Yeah. Let's go down this rabbit hole a little bit further there, Paul. You were talking about how it's done a lot for you and for our viewers listening that don't quite understand, that we have to give this thing away to keep it. Elaborate a little more, like what it did for you.
I loved what you said. That's one thing I heard at one point. I didn't understand it when I first heard it, that you can't keep what you have unless you're willing to freely give it back. Right. And that's really the basis of this. But for me, I look back on, it's been coming up in 16 years in August of when I got, clean and sober. And, really for the first however many few years, man, I was all in, right, with AA and recovery, because I had to be in there. I got a few days under my belt, and I started kind of missing a few meetings here and there, and then, just kind of fading away, staying sober, and clean. But, that disease never really goes away. And so it was a complete blessing for me that this kind of came back in the point of my life, to be able to go like, holy crap, like, you absolutely still are an addict. Like, that doesn't go away. You've let some crazy thinking maybe start to enter back into your mind and into your world. And it put me back into the place of like, man, this is who I am. This is what I need to do. And there are people just like me, how I was 16 years ago. And if it wasn't for people that reached out to me and helped guide me and put me on that track, and more importantly, called me out on my bullshit, I wouldn't be here today. So how can I keep the gift that someone gave me all to myself? Right? Like, we've got to give that back, because otherwise, like, it goes away.
Mm-hmm. It does. It definitely does, man. That's great, because for a lot of people that don't understand this, and this is what the paradox, for me at least, there's a lot of paradoxes in recovery, and one of them is, it's a selfish program, right? And when you say that, it sounds so negative, right? Like, oh my God, he's selfish. But that's what it is if I want to keep this, right? And selfishly, if I want to keep this, I have to give this away in order what has been so freely given to me, right? Like, no one's paid. When I show up there, I throw $1 in a basket, whatever the case might be. And everybody there is like, they're there for the same reason, right? But in the same token, in the same breath, I have to take care of myself. And if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't take care of anybody else. Like, I have to have it to give it away. Right. And like Paul touched on it, and same with Eric, like, after a while, I think sometimes we become complacent, right? And we forget where we come from, sometimes. And we allow the things that the program gave us to get in the way of the program sometimes, I think. And at least I've done it. But what's crazy, and another paradox, is like the pain that I experience, especially sober, 90% of the time it's self-inflicted pain, but that's the only way I can grow. Right? Like I have to experience this pain to grow, and it's, personal, professional, financially, whatever. It's like I gotta, you can tell me 100 times not to do something, and I'll go ahead and do it, and then all of a sudden I'll think it's a good idea, because I think it's a good idea, and then I'll take the credit for it, even though you've been telling me not to do this the entire time. But anyhow, Eric, what has this done for you, with, just because of being able to help people, right? Has it gotten you out of you? Like what's probably the biggest benefit that you've gotten out of this?
Yeah, I mean, again, it really goes back for me to, it's given me the opportunity to get back into serving, right? And I think that I was a little bit lost because I was so focused on, the gifts that I had been given, right? The life that had changed for me already, right? I was starting to see success. I was starting to see some different things in my life, come true. Those promises, right? Those promises started coming true. And I was definitely falling in that trap of, again, I hate to reuse the word, but falling into that trap of complacency, and falling into that trap of like, well, I got this, right? And falling into the other trap of, and I've talked about this a lot, and I get a lot of people that love to fucking argue this point, but of almost maybe feeling like that I recovered bullshit, right? And that I got this now. And I don't, I'm a big proponent of that. You don't recover, right? You're always in recovery. It's always a journey, because I know that like that thing never goes away. If I try to go drink or use drugs tomorrow, I know exactly what's going to happen, and it's not going to be pretty. Like some bad shit is going to happen. And unless I know that I could go out and use and do whatever I wanted, and those things wouldn't happen, then I'm not fucking recovered, right? And so by having the opportunity to be able to help, give back, send other people to treatment, to get to go to the place. I mean, here's the coolest thing for me. Okay. And Paul doesn't get to experience this, but we partnered originally with the place that I went to rehab, right? The place that literally saved my life. And we get to send people to Valley Hope for right now still. And I get to see like that same miracle happen to people that get to go to the same place that saved my life and gave me the miracle and the opportunity that I get to have now. So like I get to see that all the time, and it gets to be that constant reminder, even when I'm wrapped up in my own life and my own business and trying to make more money and hire more people and chase more fucking roofs and all that kind of shit. I still get to see that all the time, because at the end of the day, that is what matters. The money will come, the jobs will come, all that shit will come. Business is not that difficult, right? Like you can always figure that out. But this is like real life, and this is what really, really matters, is the people that are surrounded in it. And to Paul's point, we love our industry, and we love the people in it, and we don't want them to suffer because of this stigma of addiction and all the alpha males that are in this industry that don't want to talk about it and don't want to share, because they see a stigma and the fear to talk about it. And so we hope that by us talking and coming on shows like yours and being like, here we are, like we're alcoholics, we're addicts, like we're not ashamed of it. We're here to help, that other people will come out of the woodwork and be like, oh shit, well, I am too. I just didn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah, and a couple
really
of dipshits like all of us, right, are able to get a little sobriety and have success in a roofing industry, and literally run multi-million-dollar a year business, to be able to show other people and to offer that hope. Like that's what we're about, is to offer that hope, man, because that's what I grasped on to 16 years ago. I seen that the hope through someone else, and I had to grasp onto their shit right, in order to help dig me up and save my life, dude. I'm here today. You know,
Yeah.
it's an amazing opportunity, and so just to be able to give that back, that to show other people that, hey, these guys did it, I could do it as well.
Yeah, that's real shit, man. That's real shit. And
it
we
is.
have a comment that just popped in here. We're gonna pop up on the screen. This is how real this is, guys. You know, I'm not personally in the program, but you know, I have family members that are in the program actively. And in a way, this touches my life on a daily basis. I have a relationship with my mom and my dad because of this. You know what I mean? So like, this is real. You know what I mean? And if nothing else, the three of you guys, I think what you guys all have in common is helping people keeps you grounded. You know what I mean? If there's no other purpose for, you know, maybe you do have it, you know, maybe you guys have so much that you don't want to throw it away. If for nothing else, you guys are there to serve now and show people the way and show people that, you know, if you guys can do it, they can do it. You know, I've gotten to hear most of you guys' personal stories and everything. And I mean, usually it's always bad. You know what I mean? It's always bad. And you guys say
it's not usually. It is always bad.
it's always bad. I always, one of the common things that I hear amongst anyone in the program is you know, when you go out, people that come back in after they went back out never said they had a good time. So it's like there has to be something that keeps you grounded and keeps you in there. And it seems like this roofers in recovery thing is affecting a lot of people. Everyone that I've met that is involved in roofers in recovery have been stand up class act people. And in our industry, man, you're right, Eric, there's a stigma. There's a stigma that we're a bunch of dumb, uneducated, drug addict drunks. You know what I mean? And like, dude, that is so not true, man. There is some really beautiful, good people in this industry that legitimately just want to help and you know, want to improve our industry and leave it better than the way they found it. So I'm super pumped about everything that you guys are doing, man. I'm definitely super grateful to be involved in everything that we do to help support that. As well as I know I'm speaking for the entire company. I know everyone gets hype about that. You know, we go out and actually physically do the work in-house. Office people, everyone goes out and does this. So, you know, that's just more that can go into the pot that time. So it's awesome, man. You guys keep up the good work. You know, I can't say enough good things.
Yeah, it is good. And you guys were talking, it's like, why we do this? Because it keeps it green for us, it keeps it real. And that's why we want to help people. But not only that, at least for myself personally, I feel like I've been given a second chance multiple times, right? And that I feel like I'm on borrowed time, and I don't want to take that for granted. And I feel like he has allowed me to be here, and again, I don't want to take that for granted. So I'm going to take advantage of that. Like, so he allowed me to be here, and he is my higher power. And that I'm going to do the most I possibly can with the tools and the knowledge that I have today is to help other people in any way, shape, or form that we can. And we're very active in the program. And Chris, that's how I met Chris, was because his family's in the program. So Chris is an AA baby. And has pretty much grown up in it and around it. And that's why we've hit it off so much, because I know his parents very well. And what's cool about it is, like, Chris, you touched on it too, like everybody at the company, we pretty much shut down, you know, National Roofers and Recovery Day, and we go out and we put a roof on. But not only that, but the entire company practices these principles, you know, and they, I don't know if they know it or not. I'm sure they've heard us talk about it enough between enough of us that are here. And then what's cool about it is the design of living, right? Like, we've surrounded ourselves around those that we live with, those that we work with, those that we hang out with. 50% of us are in recovery. And if they're not in recovery, they understand recovery because they listen to us talk about it enough. And that's our core values here at TC Backer Construction, is our principles.
I love that, man, because we do the same thing at our company at Northwest. We're based on the 12-step principles. Like, those are our core values. And it's kind of funny, like, me as a person, I wish I could say that in the 16 years of sobriety, I was, you know, always lived that deal. And I think I've always kind of laid back on the deal of, you know, progress, not perfection. Right. But I know whenever we are truly running on the 12-step principles and we sit down and we do like step studies in our company, shit gets worked out, and we figure it out, and it's pretty cool to hear other companies do that, because I know it works, and I love it.
I mean, and to another point, so like Ty, for you, for instance, how many people in your company, not like exact number, you don't have to give me, but like you've got more than one person in your company that is a recovering addict or alcoholic, right? And so like I got so passionate about that like I've been spending the last couple of months crafting a TEDx talk to be able to go out and speak about doing second chance programs to bring people into your company that are recovering addicts and alcoholics, and why they can be such amazing team members, because of loyalty and all these other things. If you just understand the couple of tools that you need as an employer or whatever to be able to help them and facilitate, they can end up being the best employees you've ever had in your life. Right. Mm-hmm. And it goes to this, like when people get out of treatment and they start working the program, they get all this additional education and tool set that everybody else doesn't have, right? Mm-hmm. Which can lead them to be some of the most productive people on the planet.
We call it hiring the unhireable.
Love that.
Hiring the unhireable.
Oh, I'm gonna steal. Hold on. I'm stealing that. It's gonna be the title. It's gonna be the title of my talk. I think, Paul, you were the one that said that there's nothing wrong with fucking stealing shit, right?
Oh, absolutely, all the time.
Okay.
Hiring the unhireable, man.
Love that.
Because I was 100% unhireable.
Yeah.
Day 31, I got out of rehab on 30. Day 31, I was unhireable. Mm-hmm. And some dumb shit hired me, right? That shouldn't have hired me, but he gave me that chance because he's seen, himself in me, and because he was there at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's what it's about. It's who am I to shun somebody else who's done the same exact things that I've done. I've had it work both ways. I've had it where I've been taking advantage of it because they know I'm in recovery.
For sure.
But most of the time it has worked out, and it's been great, because I feel like we have an unfair advantage on a couple different levels, right? So we'll outwork anybody if our mindset's right. Like, we'll do the amount of work as three people would do. So the catch-22 to that is I expect everyone else to do that as well. And I gotta put myself in check at times. And then the other thing is our threshold for pain, right, is so much greater than most people, because the shit that I put myself through and everybody else through compares nothing to what I can get myself into today, right? And most of it's to benefit other people, to have an impact on other people, and just that drive. Like, if I could use half of that negative energy that I use to try to use every single day, you can create amazing things with that energy if you can get the right mindset and drive, that home. And I was thinking today, I've been listening to this guy, and he talks about being like a savage servant, and embracing the suck, and people who suffer, right? People who suffer, it's because they're fighting that uncomfortable feeling, right? Like, the more that you fight that uncomfortable feeling, the more you're going to suffer. But if you can kind of embrace that uncomfortability and push through it, because that there's going to be a reward at the end. I think as alcoholics and drug addicts, at least for me, I would walk 10 miles in 3 feet of snow to go get high. So why the hell wouldn't I open up another location in a different state 8 hours away? Why the hell wouldn't I, and that's the energy I'm talking about. Why wouldn't we build a 5,700 square foot and facilitate 30 people in that's going to impact themselves and their families, right? So if I can just take a fragment of that negative energy, right, if that's what you want to call that, but that whatever that energy I used in that, if I can just focus it and turn it around and start impacting people's lives actually in a positive way, not in a negative way, because God knows I've done a lot of that. And I feel like that's That's why I was saying earlier, like, I'm not going to take this time for granted, because I shouldn't be here. I should be behind bars. I should probably be 6 feet under. And I don't want to take this time for granted. I'm going to try to make as much useful, ness of this time that I'm here to try to have an impact on as many people's lives as I possibly can. Am I perfect? No. Can I be selfish, self-centered? Do I say stupid shit? Do I come out of the side of my neck? Of course I do. Right. But I feel those things right away. And that's the difference today between now and 12, 13 years ago. I didn't feel those things. If you didn't have what I wanted, I didn't want nothing to do with you. Today, all I want to do is help you. I don't want you to feel that way. I don't want you to go through the things that I went through. Like, I see the pain in people's eyes today, especially if it's pain that I created. Like, right away, I feel that uncomfortability. And that's not why I got sober. I got sober to help other people. And they don't even have to be sober. They don't even have to be sober. Just be a good human being. You don't have to be sober.
Agreed. Speaking of pain, y'all ever had a kidney stone?
Yes.
God damn.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Probably 50. I've had 50 of them.
Yeah, you're the kidney stone fucking king over here. Paul is. Like, I mean, not to go off topic, but I woke up in the middle of the night last night with a goddamn kidney stone, and I fucking blacked out coming out of the toilet and cracked my head on the bathtub and like laid on the floor like I was dying. And I think Natalie thought she was gonna have to take me to the hospital. But like, as you talked about pain, all I could think about was that goddamn kidney stone. And I feel like I have a knife in my dick hole. Like, that is the worst pain on the planet. Like, that's horrible. I don't know how you're still alive, Paul. I mean, the fact that you've had 100 of them. Like, I'd have just killed myself. I would have just killed myself. Like, after the 5th, I'd have been like, fuck it, I'm done.
Hey, I don't drink Mountain Dew or Coke anymore. That's how severe it is for me.
Oh my God. Anyway, off topic, but yeah, kidney stones suck. All right.
They do. They do. I had one. Where were we? Austin, Dallas, Denver, somewhere, and had one. And I was so super stoked. Like, I showed everybody in the urinal. I was like, dude, come here. I took Jana, right? I was up in my room like, yo, Jana. I was trying to get a hold of her and FaceTime her so she could see this match head size kidney stone that just blasted out of the tip of my
What's wrong with you?
sock.
Oh, no, you got to show them off. You got to show them off. Absolutely.
Yeah, like I had to show people, like, dude,
Really?
this thing just came out of me.
That's crazy.
I fished them out of the toilet before. I'll fish them out to show people. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Like, I
next
didn't
time.
even flush. I didn't flush because I wanted everybody to see it.
Stick it under your pillow for the kidney stones fairy.
Yeah,
But
kidney stone
anyhow,
fairy.
we're definitely off topic here. It's
That's
not
the
just
point.
an alcoholic
That's
thing.
what I do. Sorry.
I think anyone can have a kidney stone. Okay, you don't have to be alcoholic or a drug addict to get a kidney stone. Anyhow,
Yeah, so let's I got a question for you guys. Last year was the first year for the National Roofers in Recovery Day, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
What happened with that? Take us through that. What did you guys expect? What happened? What was the turnout for that? What are you expecting this year? Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Great question. So last year we did pretty well at getting people to sign up. I will say that we probably had about half of the people that signed up kind of came through with their commitment from signing up. That was a little disheartening. A lot of guys get pretty excited about it. And, and then there was other people like you guys that really stepped up and just showed out and helped immensely. But it's, hey, listen, we're a 501c3, right? And sometimes we always feel like we're asking for money, and that's kind of a weird thing, I know, to me to do, right? You feel like you're begging, but the reality is this goes for a great cause. So we're hoping this year. I'm going to hit the phones again really hard tomorrow. I know Eric is as well, and we're going to make another big push and try to really exceed last year. And I think we kind of learned our lesson from last year that we gotta, the day afterwards or a week afterwards, we got to be calling and reminding them, hey, you made this commitment, and we would love to see it go through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So were you guys able to get enough to send somebody to treatment?
Oh
last
yeah,
year?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Awesome.
But what we trying to do, this is kind of the biggest fundraiser of the year, right? The biggest fundraiser of the year. So let's say that we send 40 people in a year at $15,000 a person average. it's pretty heavy nut to carry. So we really what we'd love to do is to be able to raise enough of that money Roofers in Recovery Day, so the rest of the year we can focus on, doing what we need to, of supporting these guys, of help, getting them in the rehab. Number one, that's the easy part, right? Is
Right.
oddly enough, getting them into the rehab. The real work begins afterwards on day 31, where we're welcoming them into our community. A lot of times being a temporary sponsor to them, plugging them into home groups in their hometown, following up. So our biggest goal is to be able to try to take some of that financial burden off, because I tell you, it's happened numerous times over this last few years. Of all of a sudden, we've got two guys that are great candidates to go to rehab, and we literally have $3,500 in the bank. So we're figuring it out, and a lot of times putting in our own money or whatever to make it work, right? And that just gets kind of stressful and sometimes even disheartening, because I think my ego is so big that I think that everybody should think that Roofers in Recovery is the most important thing out here. And I'm like, why the hell aren't more people helping? And sometimes it could maybe get a little discouraging. I don't know. Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think that's the hardest thing, is that everybody's got a cause, right? I always say, like, it's either kids, fucking dogs, or something else, right? And for us, it's drunks. And so we've tried to focus on, I know this is something that we pushed really hard last year and this year as well, is, yes, we're trying to help that human, right? We're trying to help that human by sending them to rehab and getting them the help that they need. But at the end of the day, what we're really doing that we think can connect with more people is we're helping try to facilitate putting families back together, right? Because this is a family disease, right? It affects so many more people than just the one person that we're sending to treatment. It allows kids. Caroline fucking commented in the thing right there. She gets to see her kid now because she got sober, right? There's dads that don't get to raise their sons because they don't get to go to ball games, and they don't get to, do all the shit that you're supposed to do as a dad, in being around your kids, because of this fucking disease, right? And we've got an opportunity, if we raise the right amount of money, to be able to help so many people get the help they need, so that they can be of service and of help to their family and put that family unit back together, right? And so at the end of the day, that's what we're really trying to do. That's the end result of what happens.
That's my favorite part about it, is the family stuff. It really is. It's unbelievable. I don't even know the word for it. Like when a wife or a husband or even a kid reaches out, 6 months later, and like, oh my God, thank you for, my dad's back, my mom's back, or whatever the case may be. It's an amazing blessing to be able to be part of Roofers in Recovery, to see those things happen, because that was my experience too. 16 years ago was I wasn't present, and because I got sober, I was able to get my kids back in my life, and all of those things. And, because the reality is, if we went around and we asked everybody in the room, like, what's the most important thing to you? We would probably all say, like, our kids, right? Or your family. Like that's your number one response. And the baffling thing about addiction or alcoholism is most of us give up on our kids for a fucking crack rock or a shot of meth or whatever. We literally give up the most important thing in our life. Like, that's how powerful it is. And to be able to overcome that and have the opportunity to have the family back together, like, that's the good stuff.
That's the real miracle.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And we had another gentleman on you guys' board, Larry Bubba Richards, on our show. And great guy, by the way. One of my favorite episodes that we had. Just the real stuff that he was speaking. One thing that he said, really stuck with me. It's not necessarily always just about keeping people from going out and the disease, but also the support group that teaches dads, especially men, how to communicate properly, how to express their emotions. So his mission was, I'm going to help break this generational curse of, not knowing how to handle my emotions, just being this angry ball of emotion, screaming at my kids, being unapproachable, not being there for my kids. And when you walk in the door after work and the first thing you do is scream at a kid because you tripped over a shoe, man, they don't want to tell you about their day. They don't want to tell you any of that stuff. And a lot of us men, it's hard for us to talk about that kind of stuff. And that's just another thing that I think you guys help provide, by showing people that, it is okay to talk about this stuff. It is okay to be a human being and not necessarily know how to deal with your emotions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because we all are susceptible to it. We all have times where we aren't the best at showing our emotions, but having that support group where you can kind of learn from example on how to do that kind of stuff, man, that's just one thing that kind of stuck out with me, breaking that generational curse and creating good fathers, really. You know what I mean? Teaching your kids how to be good parents. Yeah, for sure. That's good.
It is. That is good stuff. And it just, what I like about it is too, you guys aren't all over the place. Like, you're trying to make an impact on what you guys love the most. And I hope you love roofing. I guess I'm speaking for you guys, but when we started to do just charitable stuff for the community, we were kind of all over the place and not really making an impact anywhere. We were barely scratching the surface. But when we started to dial in on like a cause, that's where we felt like we were making the biggest impact. And it's pretty cool that you guys are, dialed in on, the roofing industry, because I think one of the first questions I asked you guys is it just people in the roofing industry? You were like, yeah. And that's what I think is really cool, because for me, I love roofing. And of course I love recovery. And, I wanted to say something, but I was actually listening. I wasn't thinking about.
Were you listening to yourself talk?
I was the committee.
It was going to be good too. I know
it was like I could feel it like deep in my soul.
Those are
always going to. It was going to land.
Damn. Oh. One of the other things is too, so just and this is what's cool too, anyone can donate at any given time. It's not just about National Roofers and Recovery Day, right? If somebody could post their link in the comments here, you can go on the website, donate $5, donate $100, donate $10,000, whatever you're comfortable with. It all makes a difference. We all know that. Like $5 is $25, right? 5 $100 donations, that's $500. So you were stating that it takes about 15,000 to send someone to rehab, and is that for 28 days, or is that 2 weeks, a 2-week detox?
28.
Okay,
it's 28. Yep. And on occasion I'll extend them to 30, but it's 28 to 30. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is it the same rehab? Have you guys like dialed in on one?
So we partner with what's called Valley Hope, and they have six locations, I believe. And the reason we really liked them was one, that is where Eric went. We were familiar with them, and they were actually really open to working with us and helping us out and giving us a good deal, because that's at a discount rate, because as most people probably know from trying to get someone into rehab or even themselves, you're looking 20, 30, 40,000 to go. So we like to use them, because from my experience, when I was trying to get sober, I actually tried to get into Valley Hope. They were like, we don't have a bed for like 2 weeks. Called another place. They didn't have a bed for 10 days. Another place, it was like a month. Yeah. Here in Parker.
Oh, I didn't know that story.
Parker. Yeah. And I couldn't understand, because like I didn't have 2 weeks. Like in my mind, I didn't have 2 weeks left to live. And so it was like, holy shit, this is bad. And so I literally got in the first place that would take me, and that was $30,000. That was 16 years ago. And the miracle that my family and friends, and I got a scholarship for I think 15 of it from like the Daniels Foundation. But for me, for my group of people to scrape that money together, that was a miracle. Like that could never happen again. And somehow they did it, right? So that's why it's so important for us to always figure a way, even whenever we're low on funds with Roofers and Recovery, we make it happen. Because I remember making that call to Valley Hope even, and it was 2 weeks out, and I literally told them, well, when I die, it's your fucking fault, because you won't let me in. I didn't understand that there was beds and like, there was only so many people they could do. I just thought they were being mean to me. Right. And so that's why we did with the Valley Hope, is because they have 6 locations. So if a guy's from Dallas and the Grapevines location's full, we could get him on a plane and send him to Arizona, or we could send this guy to the one in Iowa, or the one, wherever. And that's what
we've never not had a bed for somebody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've never had somebody call, try to get him admitted, and then have Valley Hope say, it's going to be a few days. Like, they've literally every time been like, we have a bed here, even if it's not in the closest locale, they got us in somewhere else, and it's just a flight.
That's really
And
cool.
then sometimes if like the guys from Dallas, we'll ship them off because we're scared that they're going to escape. So we'll ship them off to like the one Eric went to out in BFE, that there's like no Ubers, there's no taxis, and like you're there, you're stuck. So you're going to be there.
Those are the best ones, because you send them to Phoenix or Parker or Grapevine, like that's easy to grab a fucking cab, right? Or grab something, grab an Uber and get out of there. Like the place I went to, now keep in mind, when I went there, their Uber wasn't a thing, right? But I remember like seeing a gal who just checked in, and she'd been there for like 3 hours, and she started calling taxi services to find out what it would cost to get from this shithole town we were in back to Omaha. And it was going to be like $1,200. And she was like, well, guess I'll stay. And so she ended up staying because she didn't have a car, but like, I guarantee, like when you go there the first 2 days, you're like, I got to get out of here. Right. Because you're faced with this reality of, oh shit, I don't get to do what I'm used to doing. Like I got to shut up and listen. But I think those are the best places. We're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, so the thing we're doing as well is Roofers in Recovery is building a rehab out right now. We're right in the process of it. And it's in Southern Colorado, my old hometown, in a facility that used to be a youth detention center. So it's already kind of formed, it's an old, youth detention center, but it's perfect for a rehab. So remodel is literally starting like this next week. The reason we want to do that is because we're going to be able to kind of control the cost and be able to get the cost down to, a lot cheaper, literally half, if not a third, and be able to help even more people. And yes, it's remote. So when you're there, you're going to be stuck. You're going to be serving your 28 days, unless you're going to be hitchhiking
down there. They ride.
They could ride their horse out of there. Yeah,
that's about all they can do. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
That is. It's amazing.
Last year, when Eric, when you were on last year, I remember you mentioned something about there being a documentary that you guys were going to be doing for this Roofers in Recovery. Did that ever come to fruition, or are you guys still working on that?
Yep. So Lexi and I are still filming. We're still working on it. Here's what I learned. That's a lot harder than one anticipates and a lot more fucking expensive than one anticipates. And so I have been footing the bill for that. And it's taking a little longer than I thought. But we did make a trailer that I think you guys saw last year at the gala deal. And the trailer turned out awesome. I still got to figure out how to get rights to that song, the Jelly Roll sing, so we can have that in the trailer, because the trailer was awesome. So we are still working on that. So where we're at in the process, just to give you guys some insight, scoop here on Behind the Tool Belt. What we're trying to do now is we're trying to craft the story, right? So if you watch many documentaries, right, it's not just, hey, let's watch a bunch of drunks run around and they went to treatment, right? It's trying to figure out what the story is. And originally the story was going to be that we try to follow a couple of people through rehab. Well, that's hard to do because there's a lot of HIPAA laws. And so we were able to get like one or two people like took, videos of themselves while they're in there so we could insert it in. But we kind of have to change the storyline behind it a little bit more so that we can have something to be able to package, and put together. So we are still absolutely currently working on that. It's just a much longer process. I think my guess is we probably have about another year of putting it together, because probably another 6 to 8 months of footage. And then, it takes 6 to 8 months to edit it. And I'm probably going to have to hire a couple of editors to help Lexi because, she can't do it on her own.
Yeah, that's awesome though, man. It's awesome. Good things take time.
It does.
Honestly.
It really does.
Yeah.
Do you guys cover travel? Is that 15K, include the travel? Like you guys go pick them up? Like how does that go down?
On occasion, yeah, absolutely, we have. So it depends on their circumstance. If they can't make it to where they need to, we absolutely will cover travel. We probably have on half the people.
Probably half. Yeah. It's usually the ones that are start making excuses like I can't get there. And it'd be like, all right, fine. Like we'll get you there. Like we're not letting that be the deterrent, for you getting to treatment. So yeah, we've definitely done that. We had somebody from Valley Hope one time drive 3 hours to go pick somebody up because they were going to Norton, Kansas, which is literally in the middle of Kansas. And they had to land at an airfield that was like 3.5 hours away. And they sent a van from there to pick them up at that weird little airfield in the middle of Kansas to take them to treatment. So we figure out how to get them there.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I know when I went, I had the rehab came and picked me up and that was probably a good 3-4 hour drive for them.
Oh, really?
One way. Yeah. To come pick me up. So I was just curious about that. If somebody, because I know for me, I couldn't afford to drive, let alone fly someplace because I was down and out, man, and broke and busted.
Yeah. We put people on planes for sure.
Yeah. We try definitely not to let them drive, because one, they probably don't have a driver's license. Two, they're probably higher drunk as they're driving there. And then three, that gives them an opportunity to leave the damn facility.
Yeah.
So we figure out how to get them there.
Right on. How many people have signed up? Did you answer that question yet? Like this year so far?
I believe we're setting about 30 some right now, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
we'd
right.
like to by Friday, we'd like to hit 60 to 70, I would say is a fair. Our goal was 100 to 150. We set big goals, but and correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean if we can get to 60, 70 by Friday, I think that would be pretty awesome. I think when it's this tight too, it's kind of like conferences, right? Everybody buys their fucking ticket the day before. So let's have that same mentality, right? Like, hey, it's 2 days out, it's a day out. Let's get signed up, right? And I sent the link in that private chat to whoever checks that. I put the link in there for the sign up. So I don't know who grabs that or if anybody pays attention, but that's there. So if they want to post that, anybody can sign up on that. And just so you know, anybody that's signing up on that, here's the deal. Sign up if you want to participate, right? If you're hurting a little bit and you're like, we're building a $15,000 roof and I can't donate the $5,000. Like I need that. Sign up anyway and donate $2,500. Right?
Yeah.
Donate 25. Like it doesn't matter. Just be part of the day and pick a number if you have to pick a number, right? We just want it to be that day where we get as many people to participate as we possibly can and get footage. This is something we forgot to talk about. Get footage of the build, right? Get footage so that we can put it out on social media. We want everybody in the industry to know who is supporting and trying to save lives. Like we want people to know who you are, right? Like this part of it is not anonymous, kids, right? Like we want everybody to know who's helping and who's putting their best foot forward to help these people.
Well, and the thing too, if for some reason you can't donate for whatever reason, spread the message anyway.
Yes.
Get the message out, because I say this all the time. I promise you, if you're listening to this, you know somebody in your immediate family, someone that works for you, wherever, your friends, someone is suffering from addiction or alcoholism. You may not know it yet, right? But it's out there. It's affected and is affecting every one of our lives. Every one of our lives. So at minimum, at least get the message out that we're here to help and we have this organization. Like at least do that.
Yep.
Yeah. No, and that's good. And I think it's good for guys like us, guys or gals, to do things publicly like this, to let other people know that it's okay to come out of the closet, whether it be a parent and their child, right? Because I think these are the things that parents and families hide You know, they try to keep these things hidden. They think that they can, you know, help that individual, and a lot of times they can't. And it's just, you know, us as alcoholics, we just tear people's lives, their families, the trust, the manipulation, just tear people apart.
A lot of times they're the enablers, buddy.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? A lot of times it's the people that are closest to you that are enabling you, that are getting manipulated and falling for the manipulations just because they don't want to see the pain, they don't want to see the suffering.
Right. And you guys touched on it. It's a family disease, and I think we don't realize how badly we affect other people. Right? Like we literally make other people sick. Right? That's why they came out with Al-Anon and all these Alentine and all these other programs for the families to go to try to get better. Right? Because we literally scarred our families, and their nerves are shot or whatever. I know the stuff that I put my mom through, and I felt like I permanently scarred her. You know, she never saw it.
Yes. I will never forget that either. Like my mom showed up at rehab for like family day, and I was leaving rehab like that day, like it was day 10. It was like family day, and they were going to bring it in, and like your family was supposed to come and talk to you about all the bad shit that you did, and you know, all those horrible things, right? When you're in rehab. I will never forget to this day. My mom walked in the door. She had a canker sore on her face that was, you know, them stress on her face. Her only son is in rehab. I think out of her 9 uncles on her side of the family, 8 of them died in alcoholic death. Here's her only son in rehab, and I will never forget that thing. It looked like it was that big, right? It was like the size of a quarter, but to me it was that big. And I thought to myself, there's no way in hell I'm going to get in the car with her and drive all the way back home, which is 5 hours, to have to look at that thing and know that I was the one that caused that. I guess I'll go ahead and stay, right? But we put them through unbelievable pain, man. I couldn't imagine being on the other side, you know, of your loved one, you know, your kid or your spouse or whoever, that you know when they leave the house that like, are they coming back? That's horrible.
Right. Yeah, no, it is. And I've done that.
Can we make a t-shirt that says a canker sore saved my life? with like a big fucking canker and then your signature right below it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So I just like I pictured the shirt, like it's perfect. Yes, I'm gonna make that shirt. I'm gonna send it to you on your sobriety birthday. Sorry, go on. I digress. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. We just don't know how badly we affect everybody else. And we feel like if they just left us alone, we would be fine. Right. But unfortunately, our actions, you know, and consequences have affected everybody's lives that we're in contact with. And you know, until we are finally cut off, I think, you know, is at least for me, I needed to be cut off or locked up. And unfortunately, my elevator ride got off, you know, in a jail cell floor. You know, I'm laying on, and that was it for me. Like when I landed there, it was like, okay, I'm done. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, it wasn't my first bout with Alcoholics Anonymous or any other program like that. I was kind of a retread Fred there for a while, and I felt like I needed every single drink. You know, it was a part of my recovering process where I finally got to the point where I was just so sick and tired. Finally, I was sick and tired of myself. Right. And tired of having people look at me the way that they did, and the lack of trust and my consequences. Finally, I could see how badly I was affecting other people, like the late nights. And my mom got to the point where she knew if she didn't get a phone call that I was okay. It was the phone call that scared the shit out of her. Right. And like, man, that is such a horrible way to have other people live, and then have them walk on eggshells and hide their pocketbooks and all of those things, and not be invited to Christmas and Thanksgivings and things like that. And it's like, that's the shit. That's why we have to give this thing away to keep it, because we have to be reminded on a daily, weekly basis. Like that could be me. There go I. Right. There go I. And that's where, you know, sponsorship, you know, was so important, whether it be you're being sponsored or you're sponsoring other people, right? Is to keep that green and to help people. Like, and you guys do it on a much larger scale, where like you guys are building a rehab now, right? Like you're paying for people to go to rehab and you're building a rehab to make it more cost effective. And that's pretty dope, man. And that is where you say, gratitude is an action word, right? And you guys are showing it. You're not just touting it or shouting it from the rooftops that, hey, look at me. You're actually doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it for a good cause. And it's good stuff. And it's like everybody, like you were saying earlier, Paul, about like, I wish everybody got as excited about this as you do what we do. Right? We do. Just know that we're your biggest fans. And here at TC Backer, whether you're alcoholic, whether you're recovering alcoholic, whether you're, you normal people, just hang out with us. Like they're bought into it too. And we love what you guys do, and we're going to do this until you guys stop doing it. And then if you stop doing it, we're just going to pick the ball up and keep running with it.
There you go. I love that.
Yeah,
that's
man.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're at our 1 hour mark. You guys want to keep rolling with it? You got anything else that you want to shout out?
So I have to dip because I gotta go do a little photo thing for Tegan before the sun goes down. So I made that commitment, and if I make a commitment to my daughter, I keep it. So I do have to do that. But I wanted to before I leave, I want to reiterate my gratitude for you guys. One, for bringing us on here today to be able to talk about what we're doing and helping get more people to sign up, but your guys' support, not only personally, but you just talked about it, your entire company, and the fact that you get your entire company behind, what we're trying to do here. I don't think you understand the level of appreciation that we actually have for that. It's not just a, hey, thanks, Ty. Hey, thanks, Chris. Like, it's not just that. Like, there's a much deeper level of gratitude that is hard to express. And so I'm going to try to verbally express that in saying thank you again. But it's impossible to show how much we really care and how much we really appreciate what you guys do. And you go out of your way when you don't have to show up for that. So like I said, before I leave, that's the biggest thing is I want you guys to know how much we appreciate you. And we can't wait for Friday and to see the roof you guys build. And I want to see I want to see one of your receptionists fucking tearing off some shingles. So please send me that video so Lexi can put it in some kind of a reel.
Okay? That's, that, Eric, that's exactly. Thank you guys. It's this last couple of years, you guys have been our biggest supporters, our biggest advocates, and their thanks doesn't go far enough, right? Like there's not a good enough word for that. It's definitely recognized. You've saved lives and put families back together because of your support. So thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys.
Hard work, man.
Thank you.
You guys do the hard work
for sure.
For real.
Keep it up. Keep up the good work.
Yes. Yeah, Eric, thank you for joining us, man. You guys,
I gotta go. I'm gonna get my ass chewed.
Yeah,
right. I love you guys. All right.
Yep, you too.
But yeah, so you guys could have picked any other thing to be doing 48 hours before Roofers in Recovery Day. You guys picked our podcast to come on and talk about this. You guys do the heavy lifting. You know what I mean, on a daily basis. And I know I can speak for you, Ty. We appreciate what you guys do because this is something that affects so many people. You know what I mean? Both of us standing here, it affects us in some sort of way, a loved one, personally, whatever it may be. So that's why it's so important. I think everyone buys in just because everyone can relate. And, it's the least that we can do. You guys do the heavy lifting daily. You guys are changing the lives and putting that, those contributions to good use on a regular basis. So it's honestly probably the best thing that we do support as far as the amount of people that it can touch. Because if you think about it, man, you impact one life, you save one life, the ripple effect from that one person becoming healthy and being a better dad, being a better friend, a better coworker, the ripple effect that they can have and the message that they can spread to other people, man. Like you think about that. Now do that 10, 20, 30, 100 times. That's a lot of ripple effect, man. That's a lot of change.
Yeah.
That's a lot of effect. So
that's what it's about. Yep.
For sure. So
yeah, ditto everything Chris just said, man. You guys do all the heavy lifting, And we look forward to it. And selfishly, it kicks our culture up too as well. You know what I mean? Like people were like, oh shit, we get off Friday. You know, not really, because that we're up on a roof, but it does, the camaraderie and the fellowship that we feel and get to experience, and knowing that what we're doing is going towards a good cause. Everybody's jacked up. It's like when we do shit like this, it's like it's Christmas morning. So thank you for allowing us to participate and play our small part in all of this, so we can kick ass and take names with you guys and impact people's lives all over the world.
Yeah.
Appreciate
One more
it,
time.
fellas.
www.roofersandrecovery.org. Friday is National Roofers in Recovery Day. Whether you are a roofing business owner or not, you can still contribute. You can still donate. If you do own a roofing company, they are just asking you not to donate everything, all proceeds of the day. Just pick a job, pay your subs, pay your supplier, just donate the profits for one build. And like I said, even if you're not a roofing owner, you can still go on and donate. You know, like Ty said, $25 donations is $100. I mean, and having that kind of attitude, that kind of mentality, and what another thing that you can do, it's 100% free to hit the share button. To post something on Facebook, it is 100% free. It takes 20 seconds out of your day, and it could change a life, man. You never know who you're going to reach with that post. You never know who you're going to impact. And yeah, it's just good shit. So Paul, appreciate everything that you guys are doing, man.
Yeah.
How can someone reach out to you directly? You have what are all your social tags?
I am. So if you just, I'm obviously on Facebook, but my direct cell phone number, man, is 719-588-4361. I believe that's also on my Facebook as well, or hit me on Messenger. I'm here to help. Phone's on.
Awesome. Love it.
Excellent.
Let us know if you need anything else, brother.
Awesome, guys.
Yes.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah,
So great episode. Thank you so much. You guys, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. If you guys have not done so already, please hop over to the Behind the ToolBelt YouTube page, like and subscribe to that. If you are local here in South Central Pennsylvania, or if you want to come from far away, we do have our grand opening tomorrow from 4 to 7. There will be a ribbon cutting ceremony at 6 o'clock. We will have food. Come see all the hard work that the TC Backer team has put into this new building. It is going to be a staple in York on Carlisle Road there. Let us know if you guys want any kind of details or anything, but this has been a great episode. Thank you guys for always supporting. We will see you guys next Wednesday, 7 p.m. for episode 180.
Yes, sir.
Everyone have a good night.